Greetings, my friends. Welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and I'm back yet again with another collection update. But this one is a very special collection update. It's all vinyl, and it's all vinyl from the mighty Ghost. The very current, the spectacular, the amazing Ghost, of course. Swedish, occult rockers, heavy metalers, whatever you want to call Ghost. They're a superb band. They're very important, very influential, very current band. Of course, recently they have released their 6th full-length studio album, Skeletor, which I have reviewed here on the channel. And it is a stunning album. It's absolutely glorious. And it kind of inspired me. I picked up that album on vinyl after a few listens to the CD copy, which I pre-ordered. And after that, I just decided to go back through their discography, the other 3 studio albums, in fact, that I hadn't already got on vinyl, and pick them up. So I'm going to be showing off those articles today. Of course, previously, I have shown off in a collection update the 2 vinyls that I did have from the band. So we've got the debut album, Opus Eponymous, which is an excellent album. Absolutely love this album. Fantastic piece of work. It's a very interesting, very unique album. I've already talked about that one, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that one. I also showed off this very nice, I think it's red inner gatefold version of the second album, Infestissimum, if that's actually how it's pronounced, released in 2013. Great album. So, keeping it chronological, the third album, where things started to get very grand and really start to snowball for the band. They picked up some serious momentum with third album, Meliora, which is an absolutely stunning album. A lot of comments about Ghost, either on the collection update where I was talking about those first 2 albums, or on the review of Skeletor. There's a lot of love for Meliora. And this album was released in, I believe it was 2015, but I could be totally wrong there. This is a great album. It's actually mixed by Andy Wallace. So we're starting to get some notorious names in the fold there. Produced by Klaas Allund. This is a really good album, and I totally am absolutely hooked on this in particular. I'm absolutely hooked on Ghost right now. Since Skeletor, and since seeing them at the Utilita Arena in Birmingham on the Skeletor, I am just totally hooked on the incredible Ghost. Nice printed inner that we get with this one. Lyrics on the back. It is just a black vinyl, but this particular version is really high quality. So it is black vinyl, stickers on the inside there. Loma Vista Records. This album is a pretty heavy affair. Some really cracking tracks here, but it's a nice kind of glossy, I guess, sheen to it. Really high quality. I picked this one up, I believe it was actually from EMP. Could be wrong, but it contains some truly excellent tracks. Spirit, From the Pinnacle to the Pit, Sirius, and we've got He Is, Mummy Dust, Absolution, and Do in Absentia. They actually played more tracks from this album when I saw Ghost back on 20th of April. More tracks from Meliora than they did from any other album, which is, that kind of says a lot. But they played Spirit quite early on alongside Sirius. They played He Is, Mummy Dust, which when they played that absolutely blew my mind. The visuals was just amazing throughout the whole set. You know, Tobias Papa with his costume changes, or with his just really interesting, commanding stage presence, excellent voice. And the band of Nameless Ghouls, they were on red hot form. It's so theatric, it's stunning. But then they played Mummy Dust, these amazing visuals and this whole screen display behind them just blew my mind. Just hearing Mummy Dust, which is a really heavy track, that's a riffing heavy metal track, blew my freaking mind. They did play Devil Church as well. And you know what? Some of the latter album tracks from side B, like Majesty or Absolution, just stunning. Absolutely mind-blowing stuff. So I've decided to pick this up on vinyl, and I'm glad that I did. This is a really cool version. So we've got our cool printed inner there. But we've also got this expansive booklet. So this includes some really awesome lineup shots, and a lot of artwork as well. So cool artwork for each track. Really dynamic stuff. That's the lineup shot. Obviously they've gone through a few changes within the band over the years. And yeah, just tons of cool artwork throughout. I know you can get different versions, color variants and things of Meliora, but this will do. This will do just fine. So yeah, a very cool booklet there as well. I don't know why I decided that I wanted to have all the albums on vinyl, but it just sort of makes sense. So album number 3, Meliora, definitely one of their best. Then we've got album number 4. This one I didn't hear at the time of release. I only actually heard it a few years after release. It was released in 2018. I think I probably heard it around 2020. And I don't know why I overlooked it, because it's a freaking fantastic album. It is entitled Prequel. And I'm not sure. I'm always confused if it's prequel, I'm just calling it Prequel. Great album. Absolutely stunning. I would say that I do prefer Meliora just a bit, but with tracks like Rats, which is an anthem, of course they played that in Birmingham. Faith, another one they played. See the Light, which is just an epic track, really melodic, mid-paced track. Dance Macabre, another one they played, another great one. Big, sort of almost stadium rock sounding track. Yeah, right the way through to the closing grand epic Life Eternal. Really nice single sleeve again. Just looking at those visuals, that artwork actually, I don't think I've studied that fully in depth, but wow. I know the front cover is awesome, but so's the back. So this one, again, just a black vinyl, and this one was actually really hard to find. So I did manage to find it in the end. Different pupper, and I think in the end this was through Chalkies UK. Don't know why it was so difficult, although now it seems to be quite readily available. So maybe I was just looking at totally the wrong time there. Actually, quite a bit of dust on there. Needs a wipe. But Ghost, Prequel, awesome. Just black vinyl, but looks the part. A brilliant album. I think that it's just almost, it's that classic scenario. It's trying to follow up a really, really solid album. I'd say they've done a very good job. Album number 4 is another brilliant one. I think they definitely top it with the follow-up, with the 5th album, which, again, I was very slow to appreciate Impera, which was released in 2022. Very slow to get into this one. I did actually pre-order this one at the time, and there were certain things about it that I just didn't really get at the time. I was a little bit kind of slow to appreciate. Certainly on the first listen with the Imperium intro and then Kaiserion, I was not really all that convinced. It sounded very sort of upbeat, a bit kind of like, not very poppy. You know, Tobias sounds amazing, but the visuals as well, it just seemed very, very light and poppy. Whereas the albums that came before it, you know, that artwork is very dark. It's very demonic looking. I was also kind of concerned by track titles like Call Me Little Sunshine or 20's Darkness at the Heart of My Love. I was a little bit kind of apprehensive. I thought maybe they're just going for the big time, you know, radio play and all that. With repeated listens though, it has grown on me, and it is a fantastic album. it is definitely not as, should we say, kind of like streamlined as Skeletor or consistent as Skeletor, nor is it as consistent as Prequel, in fact, which is it's a pretty consistent album. I feel like Impera is kind of trying to be a lot of different things, or it's trying a lot of different things. There's so much variation here. Kaiserion, big and poppy. Spillways is just pure Def Leppard worship, stadium rock sounding track. So much swagger there, but it is an amazing track. I love it. Call Me Little Sunshine, this melodic, very powerful track. Heavy, but it's a slower paced piece. Hunter's Moon sounds a bit more Ghost, a bit more akin to some of their previous material. Watchers in the Sky is very heavy and it's great, but it's quite un-Ghost sounding in a way. 20s is totally un-Ghost sounding. I'm not really sure what's up with that one. There must be a bit of a backstory to it, but whoa, it's kind of like a strange Broadway track. Then we've got the ballad, which they did play in Birmingham, and it was on the Skeletor. It's the only track they played from Impera. Of course, they've been covering this one live in depth over the last few years. But Darkness at the Heart of My Love, very catchy, a heartfelt track. Then we've got two brilliant tracks, latter album. We've got the Bite of Passage kind of interlude there, but we've got Driftwood, which is fantastic. And then the absolutely stunning closing track, Respite on the Spitalfields. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I've been listening to all of these albums very regularly. Each one of these albums has been getting a weekly spin at least. Cool, black vinyl again, just black vinyl. I wasn't too bothered about getting colour versions and stuff. I just wanted to kind of actually have the album. But just like with Meliora, Impera has a whopping great book. Freaking massive. And I think, the whole aesthetics with Papa, with Tobias, he's gone very grand here. Very grand. Like an emperor, in fact. Again, amazing visuals here. It's just an enormous book full of really cool artwork. Really stunning visuals here. And I know that there is some lyrics in here as well. So you get it all. It's a really, really cool package. Really nice. High quality. And actually, this was not very expensive at all. I think it was less than 20 quid. Still plenty of copies of it around. And it's just a brilliant one. It might not be as cult and underground as the debut. But that went big pretty quick, let's face it. But Impera, a very good album. And then, of course, bringing it up to date, just in case you haven't seen the Skeletor album review, thought I might as well show it off again. I picked up this vinyl variant. It's a very shiny, silky sleeve here. Very cool artwork. Again, very different. It's a very strange cover, but it's a fantastic album. And testament to how good this album is, obviously, when there's a new release, listen to it a lot, do the review, then I tend to move on to the next thing. That's not been the case with Skeletor. I've been coming back to this every few days at least. It's a lovely album. This is a lovely package as well. So this version comes with a cool overlay of Papa Tobias in all his Papa glory. So you can pop that over the top of the sleeve and just, enjoy that. Awesome inner, and I really do like the expanded lineup we've got here. You've got so much more going on with the band. It's the biggest and best sounding Ghost album to date, without a doubt. Lyrics, and just show off this very interesting pink vinyl. Very cool. Every album from the Mighty Ghost is absolutely worth checking out. I know that they're a very polarizing band. A lot of people seem to love them, and that was actually something that totally blew my mind. Seeing them in Birmingham was just the demand for Ghost, the absolute love that was present for this band. I Last time I'd seen them was at the Norwich UEA on the Meliora tour. That was obviously a much smaller scale event. They did a fantastic job. I remember it was very epic, very big. But they have just exponentially grown. You know, Skeletor was #1 in the US Billboard 200. I know that it was then dethroned from that top spot by Sleep Token, which, must admit, I've never actually listened to Sleep Token, but, you know, credit, they must be shifting a lot of albums to reach that top spot as well. #2 in the UK album charts. Again, #1 or high spots in many, many other countries, and they deserve it. Tobias is a fantastic singer, great frontman, enigmatic, a real character, or lots of characters. The band of Nameless Ghouls, expert musicians, and honestly, I know that obviously there's not much photographic evidence of these live shows or from the Skeletor or recordings, but they were so good live. They just had the crowd eating out of their hands. With good reason, because they delivered a top-notch show. No support band, just 2 hours of Ghost, and it was just delightful. So, just to recap on this collection update, not including those first 2 albums, Meliora, I would say if you're looking to get into Ghost, maybe somehow you've overlooked them, I would say this is a great one to start with. Meliora, the 3rd album, is a great one to start with. It's got some fantastic heavy tracks and then some more mid-paced tracks as well. Prequel is a great follow-up. It's got some huge anthems and massive sounding tracks on there. Impera, I know I did say it's a little bit kind of all over the place, but it's still brilliant. Every track is great. Absolutely love it. And also, if you haven't heard the new album, do check it out. Pick up a copy. It is amazing. Peacefield, Satanized, Massilia Amore, Marks of the Evil One, Umbra, just glorious. Freaking love it. So, there we have it. Vinyl collection update entirely of The Mighty Ghost. What are your thoughts and opinions on this band? What are your thoughts and opinions on these albums? Very interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others, as always. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this humble collection update. Do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Support is very much appreciated. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good, heavy things. Till next time, take care of yourselves, listen to Ghost, and stay heavy.